You can stomp, kick, cry about it all you want, but those Big Ten champion Spartans, that's right, they swept another team this season. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans. It's your team in green and white 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below your thoughts on the little end-of-game skirmish there because, hey, that's just what Michigan does, right? We couldn't put up a fight the last 40 minutes. I'm going to stand on the court. Anyway, we'll get to that later on, talk about the losers over there at the end of this show, but we're going to start this with talking about the champs, which they already wrapped up before this game even started, but that didn't stop them from putting belt to you-know-what. This is a family show. I can't say the actual word, but right off the jump, Michigan State pulverized Michigan. Save for like a little 5-minute stretch in the second half, it was all Spartans, DK. God, what a sensational way for the seniors to go out.
Just a beautiful, beautiful day. Clinching that one earlier kind of lets you just come into this. I don't know if I've ever been more relaxed coming into the game.
Isn't it great?
And like
I know.
more sense of assurity of what was going to happen. Like none of that first half surprised me in the least bit. I thought that they were going to have some moments where they kind of like made a run on them and it felt like the pressure. And you got to give credit, somewhat to Michigan for kind of battling back. A little self-sabotage with, one guard and 3 power forward lineups that lasted a little too long. Not sure. It felt, a little tight there for a minute. We all kind of clenched a little bit, but then ultimately, Jase special moments, looks like he's a little hobbled. Then he just pulls up, hits a 3. He gives you that lefty leaner late as he's falling over. All season kind of in the beginning parts, in the middle, we're like, who's going to rise up? Who's going to rise up? Do they have enough offensive scoring? And now to get these kind of performances from Jase and for Tre to just basically be a big game type player where not only does he want all the smoke, but he's going to back it up in the scoring column as well. Like a legit 1-2 punch with them. Kind of what you're getting from the bigs. And, Akins is going to continue to kind of do his thing, hit some threes for you and defend his ass off. So, you just look up and down and, this is a magical run. I don't think either one of us had any expectations that we're coming into the season and getting this type of it, particularly after the last 4 years. And you just kind of got to sit back and you tip the cap and you say, the GOAT still got it. And this team is special. And now you got to back it up, right? You just took care of the regular season. It's buttoned up. I don't know how you feel. The Big Ten tournament matters not very much to me. This is all about March, baby, a deep March run. I want you to go to the second weekend and the third weekend. Like they have the horses to be able to do it. Let's see where it goes from here now.
I'll give my quick take on the Big Ten tournament. And this sounds like straight loser talk, but I am a loser, so this fits perfectly. Either just lose that first game, get the legs rested, or just win the whole damn thing. Like, don't waste our time with winning Friday, winning Saturday, then losing Sunday. Like, I know this team's deep. I know that they have, like you said, the horses to do it, and resting the players isn't as important as it was in years past, but I just either bow out immediately, get ready for the big one, or just win yourself another banner. See if I care. DK,
listen, we just want to come out of that tournament with everybody healthy. That is the key to me. That's the thing I'm circling. You took care of the Big Ten regular season 17-3. I know Purdue did that last year. The league was nowhere as good as it was this year. I get that Illinois was better and a little bit more of, like a higher tier team, but the drop off between those two, I think, was significant. And you saw this year, teams are losing to Minnesota, Nebraska. Like this was as deep a league, quite literally, given that we expanded to the teams. But I thought it was as deep and talented as we've seen. Maybe not in the upper tier outside of Michigan State, but I think that second tier had a bunch of really, really good teams. And to have that type of performance after the West Coast trip and the Indiana game, you're thinking like, can they just barely hang on and maybe compete in this game right here and there? Would potentially be for a piece of the title, but no, it doesn't even matter. Just wipe your rival off the face of the planet and finish the season 17-3. You didn't even need this to win the outright Big Ten title. Beautiful.
It's just unbelievable that they didn't just win this title. They didn't just have it wrapped up by the last game, but they won this conference by 3 games. That's unbelievable, DK. Like the next best teams, are Maryland and Michigan sitting at 14-6. And you talked about going into the season. Did we see this kind of year happening for Michigan State? No. And I also didn't see this kind of year happening for the Big Ten, where the winner was going to sit at just 3 losses. I said going into the season, 13-7 could very well win you the conference. It will probably be 14-6. And if Michigan State didn't exist, that is precisely what it would have turned out to be. But look at this. I mean, and you also say, like, hey, you may have not seen this going into the season. I'll out myself right now. 3-4 weeks ago, when they did lose to Indiana, however long ago that was, I did not think that Michigan State would be in position to be lifting a banner on senior night. That was a tough stretch, but they did it in the way they've been doing all season. Of course, this game was a microcosm of the entire season. Defense out of hell for the other team, and they jumped down Michigan's throat really early in that game. What was it? 7 turnovers, just 6 points for Michigan early on in this one. They beat the other team on the boards. This one came to the tune of 39-30. And you had Jase Richardson shining. You had just Jackson Kohler being a master on the boards. You had Jaden Akins hitting timely threes, which I like this recent trend here. But man, I got to start the conversation here. And I really wanted to start with a good senior discussion. Like, hey, Akins played really well, and he did. But you got to start with the dog. Tre Holloman, man. And what he did in this game, let's just go through the stats really quick. He had himself 20 points. Okay, not too shabby from Mr. Tre Holloman. He also had 3 rebounds. He had 1 assist, and he had 2 Wolverines put in their place at the very end of that game. I would take bullets plural for Tre Holloman at this point. That man is a dog. God, I love him. How about that for some analysis there?
Yeah, listen, I think, we talked about this the last 4 years, like the loss of identity, right? And completely. I think we saw kind of early on, even though this team didn't play particularly well in the month of November, that like, okay, this team's caught a little differently. Is it going to lead to, actual winning? We have to see that. But like this team isn't going to be scared of anybody, and they're wired just like a little differently. And certainly. Tre and Fears, the emotional heartbeat of this team. I mean, Tre, the performance that he had in Ann Arbor, and then to back it up tonight with what he did. And, he hit 3 threes, but like some of those mid-rangers when Michigan State's offense was kind of like sluggish. Yeah. And he's kind of pulling them out of it where it's like, it's getting to like 11, 13. And then he hits like a kind of like a mid-ranger. And then he does it again. Like Tre is everything that this program has missed the last 4 years. Complete dog, complete gamer in the moment, wears the heart on his sleeve, like, and selfless on top of it, like playing really well, gets asked to move the bench because Jase is starting to be special and takes that and is more than fine with kind of carrying that mantle for what, because ultimately he's playing starter type minutes. He's finishing games. It doesn't matter, right? Nothing matters in the scoring column, in the minutes column. This team just wants to win the game, and they're willing to rip your heart out and do it. And we've seen it over and over again. And I think that's the most exciting part, where this stretch felt like we've lost something from ourselves. And this year was like a regaining of the identity. And I truly believe that until Tom Izzo hangs it up, like they've regained that. I don't think they're going to lose it again. They understand what that was. That was the distant past. This is the new era, re-ushering it in, invigoration of what this program has always been. And it's just nice to see them kind of reestablish it. So.
Well said. And I could see why Michigan fans are upset at Tre Holloman. I'd be incredibly jealous too if, the other team had a guard that actually played a semblance of defense, was actually productive on offense, actually stood on business and played with a pulse the last few weeks of a season. I get why Michigan fans are salty at what happened at the end of that game. I'd be incredibly jealous to look at the other side and see like, oh my God, they actually have players that are good and care in a championship stretch of a season. That's beyond comprehension to some of those people over there. But get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades. We're talking Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, With a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 top plus brands, you will find exactly what you are looking for delivered fast from coast to coast. Hey, need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk with a real person. And for trade pros looking for that extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies in just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Also, guys, Wayfair. That's right. We're talking furniture on Locked On Spartans. Your home should reflect your style. And with Wayfair, it's easier than ever to make that happen. Whether you're looking for a simple refresh or you're tackling that big home project, Wayfair is everything you need all in one place. Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find the perfect piece, no matter your space or the budget. From cozy furniture, stylish decor, kitchen essentials, and outdoor must-haves, Wayfair has it all at a price that fits your budget. Find the perfect piece. Like very recently, we're trying to find new storage solutions in our basement because, with 2 boys and about 1,000 toys, the house shrinks every day, and Wayfair has just what we are looking for. Again, from furniture to the storage solutions that just look right. Head over to wayfair.com and find something that is just your style. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. We also got to give shine to Jase Richardson, too, for the 15th show in a row. I feel like just a ho-hum, 18 points, just 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Goodness gracious. Look, I had a tweet. It was, of course, joking that said, I cannot wait for Jase's senior day in 3 years. It's going to be awesome. If this was the last game at Breslin Center for Jase Richardson, I don't know if I could even be too heartbroken because he at least made it count. The way he has played the last few weeks, this isn't he's coming on late in the season, he's going to really blossom as a sophomore. No, this man is a fully bloomed flower right now. He's also a huge reason Michigan State just put a banner up today. But, what else can you say about him? He's just an incredible player, and I've run out of words. I've run out of questions asked about him. Instead, here we are just glazing Jase Richardson, which how could you not after this stretch, to put it bluntly? He's a phenom, DK. I love this kid.
Yeah, he's been special, and I think if you're looking at freshmen that have done it over the years, I mean, you really would have to go super far back to the early 2000s to say that a freshman had a better performance. This end stretch has been special. I think that you're right. This is probably it. If somehow miraculously we somehow found him back in the fold for next year, it would be unbelievable. But if this is it, what a way to go out. Carrying on the legacy of your father, coming into your own right as the team is peaking together at the right time in the right part of the season. And he literally steps on the floor and he's the best player on the floor night in and night out. And Michigan State hasn't had one of those guys in a long stretch, not since Cassius Winston, kissed the head. So to have that in every game, you always have a shot. That Iowa stretch where Michigan State is just getting pummeled the first half. He kept us afloat. He's the reason why they were able to come back in the second because he single-handedly kept it afloat. And I think he's ready for the moments. He's shown it over and over again. And to have that 1-2 guard combo where Tre is literally ready to rip his heart out and show you how hard he wants to play, and Jase just doing all the special things and doing it on efficiency to go with Fears and Akins and the rest of the team. This has been just a really, really special, magical season, and we can't take it for granted. There's nothing else to say. It's been special. It's been great.
You could be blown away by so many things of his game, his three-point shooting, his finishing package when he gets inside the paint. Of course, his defense is plus. He is an active rebounder as a guard, but just as a whole, the thing that might blow me away is that college basketball players are so inconsistent, even the best, even upperclassmen, of course. It's just the consistency of what he's been doing this at. He has scored in double figures 9 straight games. He's gotten 15-plus points in 5 of those games. He hasn't had a single-digit outing ever since that UCLA game. He just produces night in and night out. It is sensational what he has meant for this program. And for the 80th time this season, I will ask the rhetorical and non-rhetorical question, how the hell was this kid a 4-star coming out of high school? We've all seen the AAU tape. We know his pedigree is not two parents that were just born in the middle of the Himalayas. One was a Sherpa and the other one was a basket weaver. No, that was the son of Jase Richardson, a NBA star. Like, I don't know how they missed the mark on this one, but hey, I'm kind of glad they did. Maybe that put the extra chip on his shoulder as he came into Michigan State. So that's it for the Jase Richardson dialogue right here. For now, we will wax poetically about him again in due time. But overall, this game, like, there was only one thing that was missing for making this a perfect game, and that was just the thunderclap Cohen Carr dunk. Is there anything else that you thought was missing from this one, DK, or was this just a masterpiece on senior day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really was, right? I would have liked to see just a Carr just absolute smash, but
Hammer.
He made 2 or 3 free throws. He started making his free throws, and
yeah.
I don't know. You just, again, you kind of look up and down the roster. Everybody chipped in and kind of did what they had to do. Like you said, you had Akins kind of hit some timely threes early. Jase did his thing. Fears 7, 1, and 6. I thought he's pushed the pace really good. 3 steals from him. Like, I don't know. I just think the whole thing is coming together at the right time, and I almost want to skip past the next weekend because I really just I want to see this team in the tournament. I want them to double down on it, and I think regardless of what happens in the tournament, this is still going to remain a special season. But we all know that ultimately the banner's hanging there. You have it now. It's never leaving that building. Mm-hmm. But to really cap off a special season, you got to make a run in March because that's, ultimately that is how teams are held. It's kind of the Denzel Valentine, special senior year, but it's a little tarnished with the way that it went out. So the nice thing about this team is they've proven their ability to win in a few different ways. Mm-hmm. Now you're starting to see a few shots falling. We've been asking for it all season. And maybe, if you're getting the right guys getting shots that maybe they can hit 7, 8, 9 threes in the game. And if they do that, I think there's such a tough out with the defense and the way that everything else is going. So I don't know. Outside of the Carr, just bringing down the house dunk, I agree. It couldn't have been a more fitting end for the season. Taking your wounded rival who limped into this game, packing them up in the back of the truck after you hit him in the head with a shovel and telling them to go on their way. And I'm really glad that we didn't spend too much time on, the half court, whatever. I don't want this story or this season to even have any inkling of that tied to it. Okay. It is what it is.
I can do that. I can do it. I'll make this part of the season.
Dog. They asked him nicely. There was a different angle of it that they didn't show you on television. They asked him nicely to get off the logo, and they didn't. Get the off our logo. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, Spartans. That
Spartans. Will be edited out. That's
okay. The logo. They asked you nicely. Trey did it in a not so nice way. It is what it is. Welcome to the rivalry. I do want to touch on one thing that I was kind of shocked about. The Dusty May comment after that. Did you see that comment?
That was the strangest balance between trying to be a tough guy but also trying to be respectful. Pick a side, Dusty. Are you going to stand on business and say, "Oh, our guys have the right to stand at half court," or are we just going to go into our little shell and say, "Oh no, that's a cool tradition. Oh, we respect it." Pick a side here. Yeah. There's nothing I hate more than people being in the middle. Pick one, Dusty. Are you going to be a rat bastard here and actually put fire in this rivalry? Or are you actually going to say, "Oh, no, we messed up"?
It just reminded me of the Chris Holtman salty shit. And guess what? That guy's not coaching on the sideline on the other side. So if you want to say something like that, then you better go out into the portal and you better find a couple more guards that don't have Kool-Aid pumping through their veins, okay?
Correct.
You got Trey Donaldson up here giving you, 2 or 3 points tonight? The guy's been a disappearing act all season. Ooh, Roddy Gale. Who would have thought that you got a kid that transferred from OSU to come to Michigan and it's not going to work out? A kid that wants to leave a rival program to come to yours, that kid is not going to be wired the right way when it comes down to crunch time. There's nothing else to say. I get it. You got a great front court. They had an absolutely great front court. Half of that was gifted to you and Vlad Golden. And Danny Wolf probably has played himself back into college next year, so credit to you for that. He's probably coming back next year. But you got to revamp this whole thing all over again. All the players that were worth a shit in the program are leaving this year. Burnett is graduating. Cheddar's graduating. You're bringing back Gale Donaldson, Reuben Jones. You better
Fat
go
Brooks.
Get
don't forget Fat. You got Fat Brooks. So that's right.
So
I love that too.
I think that this is just like a moment for me where it's like you can't be halfway into this rivalry. Either slam your fist down, have the disrespect right off the top and say it is what it is. This is how we're here. We're here and we intend to stay here, and like we're going to be back and we want all the smoke. Or respect the rivalry because you got ran off the court again for the second time and go on your way. Like, I'm with you. There's no halfway, Mr. Nice Guy, like clean cut, whatever. It's one way or the other. So, I don't know.
March Madness is here, and that means, hey, FanDuel Sportsbook is going to hook it up all tournament long. FanDuel has given you the chance to get in on the action like never before at America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and everything in between. Guys, why do I love FanDuel Sportsbook? I mean, I can go on and on. We already know about their futures, their props, their same game parlays, but I always got to go to this. If it's going to be any different than last year's March Madness, where I did a lot of losing, hopefully it's more like college football season where we actually, won a bit. When you do win, you get paid out instantly with FanDuel. You are not just waiting, 3 games after you just won. Oh my God, when is this money going to hit my account? No, FanDuel takes care of things lickety split. That is in your account. You can withdraw money with ease there. It is just a sensationally easy app that they have over there with FanDuel. So when you hop on March Madness wagering, we'll do it with America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. I'm glad you did bring it up, because I will make this part of the season, because when you go back and you look at these great Big Ten winning teams in the past, there's always imagery attached to it, right? Like 2020. All right, Cash's step back against Ohio State will always be burned into my memory. Just the moment with Matt McQuaid and Kyle Ahrens during that 2019 season. Like, when I think about this season, I'll think about Tre jawing at the Iowa player. I'll think about Tre swishing that half-court shot at Maryland. I will think about this too, because that's some of the DNA and the culture and the attitude that you need to win a title this defiantly, again, by 3 games. So it was very bizarre. I got to say, I was brought back to, the 2014 football game against Michigan, where the game seemed like a foregone conclusion. There wasn't a lot of smoke in the rivalry, kind of seemed lifeless to a point. But instead of them putting the stake, oddly enough, at the beginning of the game and then getting whooped, they decided to do it at the very end to kind of just reignite the flames of this rivalry. So for that, I thank them. I quite frankly don't care if the freshmen did or did not know about the tradition. One of the guys that was there, Fat Brooks, he's from the state of Michigan. I like to think that he watched at least a senior night game in his upbringing in the Mitten State here. But here's my hot take. Even if they didn't know about the tradition, even if it was an honest mistake, you stand wherever the hell Tre Holloman tells you to stand, okay? If he comes up to you and he wants you standing in the concourse, get your ass up and you move right outside the popcorn stand up there. Okay, he just dropped 20 on your head. He is your father. Do not ask questions. Do not argue back. You do what number 5 tells you to do when you're on his court. So that's my hot take. I don't care if it was an honest mistake. Do what Tre tells you to. It's not that hard. Anyway, that's what I have to say about it. Indiana, Oregon. The winner of that game in the Big Ten tournament is Michigan State's first opponent. And yeah, it's no secret that we're kind of aligned here. The bigger picture is the NCAA tournament. All eyes on that. If we could skip through next weekend, I kind of would. Now, will I think this when the game tips off next Friday at noon? No, of course I want to see Michigan State win, but just give me your thoughts on the Oregon-Indiana. One's going to be a redemption story should they get the Hoosiers. The other one's going to be, a rematch of a really good game that I believe you were at Breslin Center not too long ago.
I was at it. Yeah, it was a terrible first half and a fantastic second one. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess if it's Indiana, you don't want to lose to them twice. Mike Woodson on his way out. You want some redemption there. I guess if it's Oregon, that's fine too. The one team I think that was worth beating this year that you didn't was UCLA, and that's potentially who you could see, if you end up making a semifinal. So, there's a couple storylines, and I think that, this group is going to want to win all of it. They want to bring all the hardware home. So I don't expect them to just kind of come into this and say whatever it is, what it is. I think as a fan base, we're like, let's just get to March and whatever. I don't necessarily know. I think that these guys wouldn't mind hanging a banner either. I'm curious to see how the staff handles maybe some of the rotations. Do we see a little bit more Kurt Tang in a game or two if we play, because you want to kind of, give some of these guys experience. So I'm I don't know. Like, just get me to March now. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think we can really change our seed line. I think they're locked into it too. If there was an outside chance that if you win the Big Ten tournament, you could get a 1, then maybe we consider kind of doing it. But I don't think that I don't think you can change your position with Bama in front of you, with Auburn and Duke. I think, Houston, everybody's kind of locked into where they're at in Florida.
Yep.
So I think at best you're probably, like the 2nd or 3rd 2 seed, the way that the season is shucking out.
Yep.
And so now you just got to pray for, hopefully a close region in the second weekend, catch a break or two somewhere along the way, have a ball go your way, and then we'll see what we is. The one thing we didn't touch on either is just Jaden Akins, obviously kind of like
let's do it. Yeah.
An up and down part for his season. I had the pleasure of getting to watch him like when he was a junior in high school. I went and scouted him before he committed to Michigan State. Always liked the way that he played. Always just like enjoyed the way that he carried himself. I get that this year hasn't been maybe like the perfect send-off for who he is. Obviously, he won the banner, but individually, I think, there's something that maybe is a little wanting for some parts of the way that the season has gone. But, like, think about that. Like, some of his legacy was going to be tied to this group that kind of got ushered out the last couple of years. And now when we think back about Jaden Akins' potential defensive player of the year, I think he's got to be in the conversation, particularly how well Michigan State has played. He's going to go out a winner with hanging a banner. Like, I just, for a kid that I got to watch in high school, an in-state kid, somebody who when he was 7 or 8 years old just wanted to play basketball at Michigan State, like, it did bring a tear to my eye thinking about that and seeing him kind of come up to kiss the head. And just a special moment for him to be able to kind of go out as a winner after, like, the difficulty and the toil of the last few years. So.
And they don't lift the banner without him either. Of course, up and down offensively this entire season. The defense never wavered. You think about his game against Shellstad in the second half against Oregon. John Tanji the entire game. I mean, you can pick and choose any Big Ten opponent. He was taking their top wing scorer or guard away for the most part of the game. Like, he has been truly an OKG. I know it's thrown around a lot, especially this year because it seems like we got 10 OKGs, but like just a purebred Michigan State Spartan. Of course, grew up a fan, stayed around all 4 years here. And that's another image that I hope to remember for years to come is that, tears in his eyes for a guy that really does not show a lot of emotion during any games, no matter how good or bad things are going. For him to be looking like that as he's going down and kissing the Spartan logo, I mean, it's a beautiful moment for, such a great player and a great representative of our, program here. So good on Tre. I mean, it's a great way to be sent off lifting that banner. So can't say enough good things about our guy, Akins.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, what are you going to do with the rest of your Sunday? You're a winner?
I'm going to drink a lot of beer. And by a lot of beer, I mean like 3 beers, but like in my elderly age right now, that would translate into a hangover tomorrow morning. Long ago are the days where I'm throwing down 13 of these bad boys and just popping up like Grandpa Joe and Willy Wonka. No, like they go down a lot harder these days, but I will be slamming some Punchki Stout by Griffin Claw Brewery the rest of this afternoon here. So that's what we'll be doing, DK. How about you? Do you ever crack a beer open or no? Or
no, you know me. Never a
that's
Saints.
the DK.
No, I had my fill this weekend though, so I'm honestly I'm just gonna enjoy it. They did what I expected them to do. They put the belt to the what and walked out with the dub. Like, I'm still kind of amazed. It's a magical ride that we've been on, and I just don't want to get off.
I know.
And
I know.
We'll see what happens, but make the second weekend, and then all bets are off, baby. Anything's possible. So
you got that right, guys. We of course are going to be back here. It's Locked On Spartans. We do this 5 days a week. Got good guests lined up. I don't want to jinx anything in case anything has changed in the schedules, but yeah, you guys already know it. We're going to be back full week of shows here, and we're going to be talking about this team, whether it's just 2 more games or 9 more games, anywhere in between. Oh, guys, this is what a fun season. It's been fun because of guys like you, DK. We've had a lot of great guests on this whole entire year. And, of course, all the viewers and the listeners, you guys have made this a hoot and a half as well. Any questions, any comments, LockedOnSpartans@gmail.com is the place to find us. So, guys, I cannot thank you all enough, especially you, DK. Love you, man. And I want the audience to know DK joined this show on, 10-minute heads up. I like to get the guests lined up, a week ahead of time. But this was really poor planning on my part. But look at DK, just like Tre Holloman, just like Jase Richardson, just like Jaden Akins, just like Jackson Kohler at often points this season, he came to the rescue and he saved us here. So thanks a lot, my man.
Anytime. You know I can never say no to you, Sheehan, especially in a banner type season, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey,
Go
you know
green.
what? Until next time, go white, my good friend. All right, guys, love you all. Take care of yourselves the rest of the weekend and this upcoming week. Whew, go green.